Yo, what's up? This is Raquel with the Reading Roller Coaster Club, and today I'm going to be going over one of my library hauls that I did in the beginning of May. We are currently on May 14th, I believe, but I just haven't got around to filming. I just want to apologize first for the noise in the background. I have my AC running. I live in Texas. It's like 90 degrees, which means like 100 degrees if there ain't no airflow. So I am about to die for YouTube. So yeah, my AC is running. So the first book that I picked up was Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I simply picked this up because the new movie that just came out, I do want to watch that movie. So of course I want to read the book first. I'm already about 100 pages into this and I feel like it's fucking stupid. It's just my opinion. I don't see the hype, I guess. I'm curious how the movie's gonna play out. If you don't know, this follows a girl named Kenna Rowan who just got released from prison after serving a 5-year sentence after a tragic accident happened with her boyfriend at the time. She did end up finding out she was pregnant in prison and she has a 4-year-old daughter. So she's hoping to reunite with this daughter. So she finds herself going back to the town where this accident happened. Her daughter is currently with her maternal grandparents, and Kenna has no rights, no nothing. They have no obligation to let her in this little girl Diem, like Carpe Diem, her name's Diem, life. She by a fluke ends up running into her boyfriend's best friend Ledger, the boyfriend that passed away. He had a best friend named Ledger who runs a bar, and Kenna ends up running into him. So we just get to follow Kenna's journey on like her redemption, trying to make a relationship with this little girl. And it just says the only person who hasn't closed her door on her completely is Ledger. So if anyone were to discover how Ledger is slowly becoming an important part of Kenna's life, both of them will lose trust in everyone that's important to them. It is a connection of the two. Despite the pressure surrounding them, their romance grows and so does their risk. So we find out, does she find a way back into her daughter's life or does she not? Personally, this book is already quite corny for me. But I'm gonna finish it and I'm gonna watch the movie. But yeah, so far I'm just like, I don't see the hype. But I'm 100 pages in, so whatever. It's like 320 pages long. So yeah. The next book I picked up was by Noelle W. Ihili. I've read a book from her before that I enjoyed, and that is Such Quiet Girls. Apparently this is based on a real event that had happened. Even though the book itself is fiction, it is, roughly based on something that really happened. This follows a woman who is a bus driver for a daycare. It says Sage and her sister won't make it home from school today. Neither will the other children on bus 315. But that's only the beginning of this nightmare. There's a new bus driver named Jessa who blames herself for what happened. She couldn't protect the kids she was supposed to deliver to the daycare, just like she couldn't protect her own daughter 3 years ago. But this time everything will be different. So apparently they're all trapped underneath the ground. They're buried 20 feet underground. Her and the children are doing their best to stay calm, but these kidnappers are wanting a ransom, and it's like they're running out of air, running out of time. So it sounds like it's like an intense thriller, like, you know what I mean, like you're running against the clock type shit. The next book I picked up is also a true crime book. It's nonfiction. It is called Hell in the Heartland: Murder, Meth, and the Case of the Two Missing Girls. So this is about a town in Oklahoma. On December 30th, 1999, there was a trailer that caught on fire. After that, two girls went missing. It says rumors of drug debts, revenge, corruption abounded in the years that followed. The case remained unsolved. The girls were never found. In 2015, a crime writer named Jax Miller had been haunted by this case. He decided to travel out to Oklahoma and do a fresh pair of eyes on it, to find out what really happened that winter night in 1999. And the story was still simmering more than 15 years later. What she found, was more than she could have ever bargained for. Evidence of jaw-dropping level of police negligence. Entire community was ravaged by methamphetamine addictions and a series of interconnected murders and an ominous familiar pattern. The forgotten towns were wild, lawless, and home to some of the very darkest secrets. So yeah, Hell in the Heartland by Jax Miller, who is a woman. I apologize for assuming that it was a man. That is my bad. The next book I got is another nonfiction book. It is called Machine Gun Kelly and his mom, Catherine Thorne, Meet the Kellys by Chris Ince. This is basically just as it sounds. It's the story of the infamous Machine Gun Kelly. Apparently, he wasn't really the badass. Apparently, his little lady friend Catherine was the badass, and that she was the one that was like, I don't want no punk, so you need to be gangster and do all this shit. And she put the fire under his ass. If you want to be my man, then you gotta be bad. She wanted a bad boy. So we get to follow their story, Meet the Kellys. The next book I picked up was Dark Rooms by Rebecca Hannigans. This book has been on my TBR. It says, what secrets lurk in the Hanging Woods? On the night of the summer solstice of 1999, 19-year-old Roisin O'Haran marched into the Hanging Woods. The mysterious copse that had inspired fear for decades in children in the small Irish town of Bannakilduff. Sorry if I slaughtered that. She was never seen again. So now it's 20 years later. There's two women, Dee Dee, a rookie cop, and Caitlin, Roisin's childhood best friend, who decide that they want to open up these old wounds and find out what happened to Roisin back in the day. The secrets that long ago summer rise to the surface. They will expose the truth that the small town was desperate to keep buried. So Dark Rooms. This book here, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, a lot of times when I go to the library, I set out intentionally sometimes to find some books, and then other times I just see what calls to me. So this is one of them books. It is a historical fiction book, not the type of book I normally would gravitate to. It's not a thriller. It's just a historical fiction, and it's called Wayward Girls by Susan Wiggins. No, not Wiggins. Susan Wiggs. My bad, Susie. I'm sorry. Wayward Girls by Susan Wiggs. And this follows 6 different girls that were all in the same nun house in the 1960s. And it tells their stories. I am on chapter 2 and I am enjoying this book. It is it's just like looking into the diary of the past, like just hearing people's lives, how they were. So far it starts off with a girl who is an adoptee, and she's wanting to find her birth parents, and apparently her mother was one of these girls that were in this nun house. So yeah, we just follow these 6 different girls and their 6 different stories and how they ended up in the nun house, and I'm pretty sure what happened while they were there and afterwards. So yeah, Wayward Girls. I am already enjoying this, barely on chapter 2, and I'm probably going to knock this out on the weekend if I'm not going to lie, because this is making me want to read it more than that Reminders of Him is. The last 2 books that I got, one is a cookbook. It's called I Don't Want to Cook Book, Dinners Done in One Pot. Now this one, I mean, it's self-explanatory. I want to cook some good shit. I'm tired of cooking the same old meals. You ever get in a cooking rut where you're just like using the same ingredients? Like I want something new, something healthy or hearty or both, who knows. The next book I got is also a true crime nonfiction book, and it is literally called Unsolved Murders, and it is self-explanatory. That's literally what it's about. It's a little picture book that talks about different crimes, different murders that have happened. This is just that quick read. So yeah, that is my library haul. This is a short video. I'm not going to get ranty in it. I appreciate you if you made it this far. Go check out my other videos. I'm getting better as I go because I could be all over the place. Sometimes I can't talk for shit. So if you made it this far, you're the real MVP. I appreciate you. Like, subscribe. You don't have to share. But I'll see you in the next one, as they say.